where the food is kind of good is Alamo Cinema Draft House. That's it. And that's because they are a legitimate restaurant that you're eating at. Like it's a legitimate like they have a legitimate
Eatery.
chef. Yeah, they have a legitimate chef. Yeah, they have popcorn and soda, but they also have like food. Um, but aside from that, most of the movie theater food I've had is terrible. Like you go to AMC, they're like, "We're stepping up our game. Your food still sucks."
Yeah.
Hey, we got nachos, and they're fucking stingy. Have you ever noticed that when you get the nachos at AMC, they give you just enough cheese to finish off 2/3 of the nachos? So then you buy another nacho cheese, but then you got too much damn cheese after you finish off the nachos, so you're just sitting there with all this extra hot molten
Cheddar.
cheese. No, it's hot molten nacho cheese. It's
Ooh.
terrible. It's terrible. Like the theater going experience in America sucks. Like I'd rather have what they have in Europe.
I would be honestly kind to say the theater experience is uncomfortable.
It sucks in America. Unless you're willing to pay a premium and go to like a higher end theater and pay more. If you go to a theater and you pay like you're paying like it's like one of those theaters where they want to get as many people in the theater as possible, so you have these seats where people are packed in like fucking sardines. You're gonna have a miserable experience, and the theater makes its money off of concessions, so they have these aggressively priced concessions where it's like, I just want some popcorn and a soda. Oh, that'll be $25. It's like, fuck you.
What the F?
No. Well, it's like 18, but because they include tax with the thing, but it's still a ridiculously.
Yeah.
Once you factor in the ticket, which I think the tickets now are like $10. You're paying a little over $25.
I was gonna say, if anything, this makes you at least want to get the small candies at least, so you don't have to endure some of that.
No.
Terrible popcorn stuff, but
candy is expensive as well. Everything at the concession stand at the AMC near me is overpriced. Regal Cinema, the same thing. And you're not even like half the time you're not even getting real food. You're getting bullshit. So, no.
Yeah, I already had that feeling. So thank you very much.
No, and the sad thing is, like, people say, well, it's expensive. I would rather pay more and get a better experience than pay less and feel like a piece of meat, where they're just sticking spigots on me to drain me of as much money as they possibly can. Like, I'm sorry, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's have everyone introduce themselves. Then I'll introduce the topics, and then we'll dive right in to BS Busters, another episode of BS Busters. And the topic for tonight's BS Busters is hacks, IP mismanagement, a new Pokemon, Steam Deck, and why Elden Ring is not equal, is not or should not be compared to Breath of the Wild.
Well, in that case, I might as well start this off. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, to the first BS Busters midweek podcast of March 2022. I'm Joey Moonstar, and oh boy, why do I have a feeling that this is going to be one of those weeks?
This is Kenoshi Abominito here to say Pokemon needs a vacation.
We wish.
Amen.
This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters, and I'm here to say that we've got some good topics for tonight, and I agree with everyone's assertion except for the Pokemon needs a vacation. I don't think Pokemon needs a vacation. I think the Pokemon company needs to go back to having spinoffs that are actually fun and interesting, and maybe bring some of those spinoffs back and put new installments in those spinoffs, and give the mainline games a break for a little bit. Just give them a break for a little bit, But that's neither here nor there. Let's dive into it. So we have 5 topics in tonight's cast, 5 main topics. We're going to be discussing the Nvidia hack, the Dungeon Siege surprise IP usage from Squeenix, and why video game copyright law needs an overhaul. Another example of this is Konami's failure to utilize their Silent Hill
IP.
internet. Basically, they didn't pull the trigger on this Silent Hill. They let the domain lapse, so someone else snapped it up because Konami don't give a fuck about video games anymore.
I was gonna make the joke. That's the phrase F Konami.
No, it's not even F Konami. Konami don't give a F. That's what it should be called. Pokemon being announced. The new Pokemon being announced. Scarlet and what was it? Scarlet and
Violet.
Yeah, Scarlet and Violet. Which I mean, whatever.
Those starters look awful. Those starters
they
look
do.
Garbage.
They don't
Look like
look great.
trash.
They don't look great.
Splattered ass.
None of the starters look good. I'm sorry. I know some people are gonna get angry because we got some Pokemon fans who the Pokemon company gets shit in their mouths and they'd be happy with it, but I'm not one of those fans. So our thoughts on the Steam Deck, and finally we will cover our thoughts on the comparison of Elden Ring to Breath of the Wild. I don't like using that comparison, but a lot of people are comparing it to that, even though they are functionally two totally different games. So that being said, we also have some other side topics we'll get to, and plus we'll end it out with.
And also quit calling Breath of the Wild an RPG. God.
No, they've been doing that for years. Like when you would go and rent video games back in the day, they would have Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past with the RPG section. I'm like, this shit's not an RPG.
Yeah, I mean, I know they've been doing that for years, but
I mean, that's all this. Oh, it's an RPG. It's not a fucking RPG. I've played enough RPGs to know that Breath of the Wild has very few things in common with those. I mean, even if you take the most basic JRPG, Breath of the Wild, aside from art style, has fuck all to do with it. Anyway, with that being said, let's get to the first topic: the Nvidia hack. Your guys' thoughts?
what exactly? I know they got hacked. Their DLSS code got hacked.
Yes, and all their shit came out. Everything came out. Basically, I mean, I don't think user data got compromised, but it was a terabyte of information, which is a lot of data. I don't think user data was compromised. Maybe not. I don't know. But a lot of their internal blueprints for their devices was compromised. You would think a tech company would guard that data much more than they did.
It was probably an inside job.
It could have been an inside. I don't know, but I'm just. It's kind of weird.
It's more than likely an inside job because it was probably somebody who knew how to get into the back door of Nvidia. They might either have been a disgruntled white hat hacker, or it might have been a disgruntled employee that was sick of Nvidia's shit. They're like, I'm gonna show them. So, that's a possibility. Because the thing about a lot of crimes, usually crimes happen, especially usually people get stolen from, or get murdered or whatever by people they already know. A lot of the times. So I'm guessing could have been an inside. I mean, maybe it wasn't, but I'm more leaning towards the idea that was an inside job from a disappointed employee.
I don't know. I don't know. The reason I say I don't know is because if it was an employee that actually worked there, there are better ways for an employee who actually works there to get revenge on the company than stealing their blueprints. Like doing a backdoor on their financial transactions so that they get 0.001% of every of every transaction funneled to a hidden account. Like that's a better way to get revenge on a company than stealing something like their blueprints. I'm just saying, it's just kind of weird. And then like the message from the hackers was you need to disable the ability for these cards to be able to mine crypto. Like you need to disable the thing that basically makes it so that these graphics cards can't mine crypto. Like that's this is some, that
Deep level BS.
well, I mean, the way it sounds to me like, I think AMD, Nvidia, Intel, I think they're all like, you have people always trying to hack those companies because they have a lot of data that's valuable.
I'm just saying that this all happened relatively quickly, and they got a lot of stuff. So I guess the reason, and it's not something that you hear about very often.
Yeah, not a terabyte of information.
Yeah, so it was obviously somebody who had the keys, were trusted with the keys, and were able to get that information out very quickly.
Or someone
Or what
got that person and used those keys.
Yeah. Whether it was somebody from the company who passed the keys on to somebody else because they were bad, so they would thought, well, if I just accidentally drop the keys, they can't trace it back to me.
Right.
Which more than likely will.
Yeah, because they're like, only so many people had access to this information, and we can basically verify when, because there's a key, like whenever those keys are used, there's probably a key log that says this the number, the serial number within that key, the cryptic the forget what it's called, the encoder in the key. It logs all that stuff, so they can be like, okay, this person, there's no way this person could have logged in, used their keys, because obviously they weren't physically there to do it. I mean, it's just a lot of like, either this was an inside job or someone
Heavy production, or so it means somebody either did it or somebody has some real good skill.
No, I was gonna say, this either was an inside job, or like directly someone in the company did it, or there was a case where someone was purposely careless to let someone do it. I suspect it's the second one, so then they can have plausible deniability and be like, "Oh, I didn't know. No, I just made a mistake, and they did that."
Because that's a lot of because that's just a lot of stuff to just get out just that easily.
And and the hacker demands are too specific. Like, you need to make sure that you need to open up these cards so that we can mine for crypto. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Those are your demands? You don't want
That's
money?
correct.
Now, the hilarious thing is that Nvidia had their own in-house hackers encrypt the 1 terabyte of data that they got, but the hackers had already made a copy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure if I should laugh at this because it sounds so convoluted.
This is some cyber warfare shit right here.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's why I'm just kind of like, yeah, that somebody from the inside gave somebody some stuff because
either that or this is China. Because China,
that's true.
Like, one of the big industries in China right now is crypto mining. What they do is what?
Didn't the Chinese government weren't they going hard on cryptocurrency or something?
Yes, because it's a currency that China can't control, but that doesn't mean it's not underground.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't think someone hasn't figured out a way to spoof the amount of activity that cryptocurrency, internet activity, and data bandwidth that cryptocurrency does as something else, and then say, no, this is a legit gaming institution, like people, or this is a business thing. We're an accounting firm for other businesses in other places, and that's why we have all this data and shit. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, if the government cracks down on something, there's an underground market for it. Okay, look at drugs, look at alcohol during Prohibition era. Like, if people weren't
Nothing.
using it, it wouldn't, like,
They
people
found a
wouldn't
way
be
to
buying
get
it.
used.
People wouldn't be selling it. People weren't using
Yeah.
it. So, yeah, like it's either an inside job or it could have been either one of those Middle Eastern countries, because a lot of those, not Middle Eastern Europe countries, where like a lot of the people's income is online shit, or China, because like I said, China has a huge amount of tech savvy people who are doing some shady fucking shit.
Among other things, but yeah.
But yeah, so Jewel, you dropped out a while. You have any thoughts? Any thoughts towards it before we move on to the next topic?
I'm just trying to not laugh at how ridiculous this is gonna get, and I can already hear the legal fallout when all this is cleared up.
I don't know if it's gonna be.
Yeah. It's gonna be fireworks. I'm just gonna say it now.
I don't think it's gonna be a. I don't think it's gonna be a fallout. I think these hackers will have disseminated this information, like when they stole that shit. That when they had that hack of I forget what it was. It was a video game hack. It was that Cyberpunk CD Projekt Red got hacked, and they were like, "We ain't paying you shit," and their shit got leaked on the internet. Like I have more respect for them for telling the hackers, "We ain't paying you shit." They just had that shit. Like, I mean, they didn't say that, but then the hackers are like, if you don't give us some money, we're gonna leak this data. And CD Projekt was like, "We ain't paying you shit," and they're like, "Fine," and they leaked the data.
Was it after Cyberpunk came out, or was that
it was
before?
after Cyberpunk. But I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, taking my personal feelings about how that game came out aside, businesses don't want to be hacked. No institution, whether it be a private business institution or a government institution or an infrastructure institution, no one wants their shit hacked. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, no one wants their shit hacked and their shit stolen. So, like, the fact of the matter is that it's like people's the underbaked release of Cyberpunk 2077 aside, like, hackers don't have the right to go and hack that company and steal their data and sell it. Like, you don't. The only time I could say I would be okay with hackers hacking someone is if you're hacking a drug kingpin or someone doing illegal shit. Like, if you're doing illegal shit and someone hacks you and dumps your data, I'm sorry,
You
but
earned it.
you're doing illegal shit. I mean, but if you're just a business doing your job or a public institute, like, you don't, even then you go into a gray area, because like, even when you hear about various white hat or gray hat hackers hacking government institutions and dumping data, like, the public should know this. And I'm like, okay, fair enough, but who the fuck are you to determine what the public should or should not know about shit? Like, are you the arbiter of truth? It's like a lot of people are basically taking on mantles that they don't necessarily have the credentials to hold. But it is what it is. But all of you guys made some valid points. Let's move on to the next topic. Dungeon Siege. For those of you who don't know, Dungeon Siege was a series that initially, let me look this up, because I don't think Square Enix originally had Dungeon Siege. I think they bought it. I think it was an IDOS game. Dungeon Siege. Let's see. Dungeon Siege was originally a was a Microsoft game. And I think they were bought out by by Eidos, and then Eidos got bought out by
Square.
Squeenix. So
Yeah.
and then I guess they destroyed that studio because Dungeon Siege 3 was made by Obsidian.
Oof.
Yeah. But I don't know. So what do you guys think? I mean, they're like people are like, oh, they're bringing back Dungeon Siege, and for people like me who are into PC gaming, you're like, wow, Dungeon Siege was a nice little Diablo clone, except it wasn't as dark as Diablo. Them bringing it back, and Dungeon Siege 2 was also kind of fun. And then Dungeon Siege 3, I remember not liking it as much as the first two games, but it was enjoyable. And, Square Enix is like, yeah, we're bringing it back, but it's going to be in some metaverse bullshit. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Yay, nay, agree, disagree, cool, not cool?
I've never played Dungeon Siege.
Well, I mean, like I just said, it was essentially
Mm-hmm.
it was a Diablo clone.
Not surprised there.
It was a Diablo clone, except it wasn't as dark. Like Diablo's a very dark game. Like it deals with a lot of dark themes. Like canonically, Diablo 2 goes with the canon that everything you did in Diablo 1, like the barbarian defeated Diablo and then put the crown on himself and became the villain for Diablo 2. Like everyone else who tried to defeat Diablo was corrupted and became villains. So evil won, even though if you beat Diablo 1, you defeated Diablo. Like it perpetuated into Diablo 2. So like it's a very dark, gritty, grim, dark, fantastical world. Dungeon Siege wasn't dark like that. It kind of always had kind of a sense of humor about itself, like not like a Torchlight sense of humor, but like
I was gonna say like the scary movie joke movies.
No, not even to that point. Like
Damn.
Dungeon Siege was always more like, we know that we're a Diablo clone, and we know we don't have the talent to be as gritty and dark as Diablo. So instead, we're going to do tongue-in-cheek, wink and a nod to the ridiculousness of the Chosen One narrative. Because in Dungeon Siege, like your character in the beginning of the game is just this farmer with a pitchfork and these raggedy ass farmer clothes going off to save the world. Like that is the antithesis of Diablo. And like that's the first game. You're just, like over time you get all badass and can do cool shit. But in the beginning you're just this random guy. You're like this
I was gonna say, you're basically Joe Blow.
Well, I mean, it turns out that you're the descendant of this ancient king, but you don't know that. You're just a fucking farmer fighting monsters with a pitchfork and these raggedy ass farmer clothes. Like Dungeon Siege kind of had like a little sense of humor, and like when you went to towns and shit and broke into people's houses and stole shit, like people actually like, why are you stealing shit from my house? Like Dungeon Siege kind of had it's like they knew what they were and they weren't trying to be, something else.
They were just trying to be themselves.
And then then Square Enix got them and they fucked it up. So
yeah, Square Enix just
everything they touch turns to shit.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why, even though I would love a Chrono Trigger 2, like a real Chrono Trigger sequel, if Square Enix is going to be involved with it, they'd probably fuck it up. Square Enix.
Yeah, they can't. They just don't have the magic anymore. It's gone.
Yeah, when they merged with Enix, it just kind of it's like all the coolness
They
just
went
skeeted
limp.
out of them. It's like, it's like finding out your parents used to be cool, and then it's like, well, what happened? Well, they had kids. See, when you have kids, all the coolness you had as a parent, as an adult, leaves your body. And then when your kids grow up and get the fuck out the house and go live their own lives, the coolness comes back because it's like, yeah, I don't actually have to worry about taking care of another person. We can actually do couple shit again. We can go do cool shit. But the coolness, same thing with Square Enix. Used to be cool when they were Squaresoft. Then they merged with Enix and they went to shit. Sadly. So, what do you guys think about which leads to the other topic, which is Konami had a SilentHill.com webpage that they let lapse, and someone bought it to troll Konami. Which just shows Konami doesn't give a fuck about video games anymore. They just, not even fuck Konami. It should be, you should invert that and say, Konami don't give a fuck. KDGAF. Konami do not give a fuck.
Some of us would not be surprised if that actually trended.
Yeah, it'd be perfect because they do not give a fuck. So with that being said, this leads to the topic I wanted to bring up for this for the discussion point I wanted to bring up for this topic. Do you think that the video game IP copyright laws need to be overhauled? And this is for everyone, like Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, Konami, Square Enix. If you have not put a game out in a series in over 10 years, it becomes public domain. Because these companies are sitting on these IPs and just keep on don't re-release these games, don't fucking do shit with it, but are just sitting on the IPs.
I'd be iffy about it. I would at least give it between 10 to 20.
No,
likely 15, but
10.
Yeah.
If Nintendo has not come out with an Eternal Darkness 2 see, the GameCube came out in...
I was going to comment that would mean that F-Zero's already a free market shot.
Yeah, well, they should have done something with it. I mean...
honestly, I think they should have, at some point, they should just rent these games out. It's like, we'll give, any group of developers...
Eternal Darkness...
They write out a blueprint for what they have for a particular IP.
They make a demo. They show a demo, like a proof of concept demo to the company that holds it, and they make the game. If they have not done shit with it in 10 years, fuck them. It goes public domain. Because Eternal Darkness came out in 2002. That is 20 goddamn years, and Nintendo has done fuck all with it. But they keep on renewing the fucking copyright. And that's a waste. That's a goddamn waste. Because I'm pretty sure that there are indie developers who would say, hey, I'd be interested in making an Eternal Darkness 2. We would, if you funded us, we'd make it.
Yeah.
Rather than just, the IP came up. Okay, let's renew the IP. Let's renew the copyright and doing fuck all with it. And all these companies are doing it. Square Enix is sitting on Lufia. They're sitting on fucking Lufia. They haven't released a new Lufia game since that shitty ass remake they made on the DS. Capcom sitting on Breath of Fire.
Oh boy.
I'm tired of the they aren't doing shit with it. If you ain't doing shit with it, give it up.
Yeah.
It's like a dude being married to a really hot, fine ass woman, and he ain't hitting it. It's like, what's the point? I mean, shit.
This could go into so many problems.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you have an IP and you have done fuck all with it,
Mm-hmm.
and here's the thing, I'm not saying they need to personally make the game. If they do something and say, look, this game, we have been sitting on this IP for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and we have done fuck all with it. We haven't even re-released it on modern, like even if it's a re-release of the old shit. Even if it's like a reimagining, kind of like how WayForward has done. Like WayForward did the reimagining of River City Ransom and River City Girls and shit like that. Like even that is better than just sitting on an IP and doing nothing with it for years. I don't think it's okay. I'm not cool with it. You know, we haven't gotten a new Contra. Well, we did get that shitty Contra redo on the Switch that had a cooldown on shooting.
That's weird.
Yeah. The one thing you do in Contra that there should be no limit on, they put a limit on. Like the one thing. That's like Nintendo saying, okay, we're making a new Star Fox, and one of the main features is that like the ability to fly your R-wing, that's on a cooldown. Like you can only fly for like 10 minutes in game, and then you have to land and find fuel and put fuel in your R-wing to fly somewhere. It's like, that's stupid. It's the one thing you're supposed to do. Hey, we're releasing a new F-Zero, but guess what, guys? What? Between laps, you gotta stop and refuel. It's like, come on, man. Don't do this. Only Konami could do a re-release of, could do a new installment to Contra and make it so that, like the one most important thing you do in Contra, which is shoot shit, has a limitation put on it. That's stupid. You guys have any thoughts? Do you have any counterpoints you would like to make to my assertion? Agree, disagree? Kadoshi? Jewel?
No, I'm good.
All right. Okay. So I guess that leads.
I'm mixed on this.
All right.
I'm saying this because I know that you want those people to do something with these things. But
yeah, use it or
at the
lose
same time,
it.
No, I'm being serious here. I'm saying that I know you want them to say use it or lose it, but
Yeah.
the thing is, do you really want to have that risk of somebody making the series worse because of a time lapse?
I'll be honest with you.
Are you really that?
Is your question serious or rhetorical? Because if it's serious, I'll answer it. Okay, then let me answer it. Please, thank you. To be honest with you, I can see where you're coming from, where you don't want people to ruin the IP. But that's like saying, that. So, like, you're so afraid of ruining the IP that you don't do shit with it. I mean, that's like saying, I'm so afraid that if I write this paper, that I'll get a bad grade, that I'm not going to do the work. I'm not going to write it anyway. So then I know I'm not going to get a bad grade. It's like, it's kind of like...
You're shooting yourself in the foot, Eric. Right there.
No, it's...
Right
it's,
there.
It's,
right.
No, stop.
It's the same...
I'm going to say this right now. No. Here's the thing. I know you're saying that if I don't write it, then it's not going to be judged, and that's the thing. It's going to be judged whether you do it or not, but here's the thing that's going to get me having to really question you on this. Are you really serious that if you think that if the people that have it lose their right, and then somebody takes it, you think that it's going to be a matter of time before somebody that had it in the first place is going to respond to that?
Well, the thing is, I'm not against, like, when I say use it or lose it, I mean that they either I'm not saying they physically have to make the game. They could do what a lot of other companies are doing, like Arc System Works is doing when they bought Technos Japan stuff, and they're farming out the like a lot of those IPs like River City to other smaller studios to make games in those IPs. I'm not against that. But the idea of a company sitting on an IP for 20 years and just keeps on renewing the copyright and like, okay, you renewed the copyright. There's no new games coming out. These games aren't being re-released. So you're at this point, you're just sitting on the IP on the off chance you might do something with it. Or, and I can give examples of where someone lost an exclusivity right to an IP and shit got better. Look at EA with the Star Wars license. EA, when they had exclusivity rights for Star Wars was shit. Okay? It was absolute shit. Okay? Star Wars Battlefront was shit. Battlefront 2 was also shit. SWTOR, despite, I actually like that, but like there's a lot of, it's an MMO game. It's a fucking MMO with a great story, but it's a fucking MMO. It's very shallow, and the world is static, so because it has to preserve the status quo. When they lost their exclusivity, other companies are now, telling people, "Oh, we're making Star Wars games." So you're getting different types of games. You're getting and not all of them are good. Some of them are bad, but it's better for you to have a variety of different ideas and different takes on an IP and people trying shit than a company just sitting on it and doing fuck all with it for years, decades.
Huh.
And in regards to, if it's like a first party IP, let's use a first party IP example. Sonic Team sucks. Sonic the Hedgehog games have been shit for years.
I was gonna say, Sonic fans, aim at him, not the rest of us.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Even if you're a Sonic, even if you like the 3D Sonic games, every 3D Sonic fan can pick certain even if they can pick a point in the 3D games where they were like, yeah, that's the down point. For some fans, the height of it was Sonic Adventure. For other fans, Sonic Adventure 2. For other fans, it's fucking
Shadow.
No one. I'm one of the few people who like Shadow the Hedgehog, but even I will admit that Shadow the Hedgehog had some very bad. It had some good ideas, but they were poorly executed. But it was made by Sonic Team, so that's like Sonic Team's mantra. Hey, we have a lot of good ideas. Fuck all if we'll execute them well. Sonic Heroes had some good ideas. Terrible execution. Good ideas.
The thing is, as far as I can feel, the two Sonic games that I feel really sunk the ship were Shadow the Hedgehog. No hate, but it's serious, true. And Sonic 06.
I think
Sonic Adventure games are not as good as people.
No, they aren't.
Remember them.
The Sonic Adventure games were great because it was the first time people had seen Sonic in a 3D in a 3D space. So you have that awe of seeing Sonic in 3D, in competent 3D. Like, the adventure games aren't great, but they're competent 3D, and no one's counting Sonic Racers. Okay, fuck that game. Sorry, Sonic R.
I never said Sonic R, so if anything, that's you boys.
Well, because I had to qualify the statement because a lot of people will say, well, actually, the nerds were like, well, actually, Sonic was 3D in Sonic R, but Sonic R sucks. and the 3D in Sonic R is incompetent at best. Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 are the first games where it's in 3D and it's competently made. Not great. Like, if you stack Sonic Adventure next to Mario 64, Sonic Adventure is clearly inferior to Mario 64. Even though the problem with Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 is that Mario 64, while superior to Sonic Adventure, Mario 64, if you stack it to the other 3D Mario games, it's inferior to the other 3D Mario games. Because Nintendo got better with their 3D game design as time went on. Sonic Team has not. It's literally, they're using the same shit they've been using since Sonic Adventure. Just with minor variations.
I was gonna say that if anything, I will at least agree that they did reuse the Sonic Adventure polygons for quite a lot of games for the 3D series.
I'm not even going to say the polygons. Every fucking Sonic Team 3D Sonic game, you will have Sonic get chased down some type of road, bridge, something. He's going to be chased by something, running away from something, or chasing, or either down on a bridge, on a road. It's like, how many times can we do this? Oh, you're going to be running in and hitting bumpers and using the homing attack to hit certain bumpers. Oh, grind. It's like, do you guys ever advance your gameplay? No, they do not. It's the same shit over and over and over again. And Sonic Team, and then
they're more formulaic than some other series, like the Call of Duty series.
but Call of Duty, you can't compare Call of Duty to Sonic the Hedgehog, because Call of Duty, people go to Call of Duty because they expect a certain gameplay experience.
I would say it's more formulaic.
Call of Duty is formulaic, but people play Call of Duty for the formula. It's like Halo. People got mad at Halo because when Bungie left and 343 took over, they changed the formula. First-person shooters have to be formulaic to an extent because you have a dedicated fan base who are playing those games, and they want the skills from each game to carry over. 3D open-world adventure games do not have to do that because, every 3D world, you're basically supposed to have different shit so that people have different experiences. It's a playground. Right? It's a playground. If you went to, remember when we were kids and they had the playgrounds at the school, and then you would go to someone else's playground and there would be different shit? Do you know how fucking terrible the world would be if you were in a playground where every playground was the fucking same as the playground you had at your school? You'd be like, this is boring. A 3D open world game is a playground. The experience is supposed to be different with each new iteration. But Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Team, their 3D games are the same shit over and over again with minor variations. It's like, this one's different. How so? Well, in the previous game, it was a truck chasing Sonic, but now it's a Coupe de Ville. That's the difference. It's different now, but it's the same shit. No, it's not.
As I said, it felt formulaic with that one.
Whereas, Call of Duty, Halo, first-person shooters, Battlefield, Battlefield, people want that formula to stay the same. They want it to be tweaked and refined, but they want the same so that they can carry their skills from
one game
iteration to iteration. Yeah, it's not a fair comparison. It's the reason why people got mad at New Super Mario Brothers to New Super Mario Brothers 2, because New Super Mario Brothers 2 was so similar to the first game. Aside from, there were some remix levels and the gold flower and all that shit. But yeah, I disagree. I think that if you don't know what the fuck to do with an IP and give it to new people to try it out, sometimes you get some wonderful things. Let's keep it real. The best 2D Sonic game we got in years was Sonic Mania. And that was made by people who were fans of 2D Sonic games. And you can tell, because they threw away what didn't work and kept what did work. And it's a better game for it. If a company doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with an IP and instead of just sitting on the shit and doing nothing with it, let someone do something with it. And here's the thing, at least someone, even if the game comes out and it fails, the people who hold the IP can look at it and say, that didn't work. Let's try something different with the next iteration. Wouldn't it be great if instead of Nintendo just sitting on Star Fox for the next 7, 8, 9, 10 years, or just letting it go dormant and the only time we see Star Fox is in a fucking Smash Brothers game, if they said, okay, clearly a lot of people did not like the gimmicky nature of some of these levels in Star Fox Zero. and the remixing of Star Fox 64. I don't know why everyone worships at the altar of Star Fox 64. It's not even that good, in my opinion. I know some people love that game, but I like it. I don't love it. But it's like there's so much cool shit you could do in a Star Fox game that they're just not doing because people keep on worshiping at the altar of Star Fox 64.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where most people are familiar with Star Fox with 64.
Yeah, I get that, but it's just like you guys got to move this shit forward. You know, it's do something different. Try something new. But that's just my own personal opinion. I could be wrong. So anyone else have anything else to say about the use it about my use it or lose it idea for IPs? Nothing. Okay. On to the next one. Pokemon. Pokemon. So Pokemon, I have a picture here of the 3 starters, and I'm not gonna lie. The best looking of the 3 new starters is the grass one. But that's just because the other 2 look so damn derpy. Like the water one looks like it's got a fucking bouffant pompadour. And
I was going to make the joke that he looks like a one looks like a JoJo character, and the other one looks like it came out of Neopets.
Yeah. The fire one does look like it came out of Neopets. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna say the water one.
Neopets owner too.
I'm not gonna say the water one looks like a JoJo character. It looks like someone took that duck and got some hair grease and gave it a pompadour. Or either that or put a wig on it. It's like that's animal cruelty. The Pokemon police are gonna get you for animal cruelty for putting that wig on that Pokemon.
Someone called Plasma. Someone called Team Plasma. We got animal abuse here.
They need to call Officer Jenny. Someone call Officer Jenny on this person. Why'd you put a wig on this Pokemon? I thought it'd make him look cool. Come here, you're going to jail. Yeah, they all look pretty bad. The grass one doesn't look as bad as the other 2, but they all look pretty damn derpy. Yeah. I'm unimpressed. I
was going to say that my overall that it's early for me to say that they are unimpressive. I mean, this is only the base evolution where you haven't seen the full evolutions yet. But I can already tell that this is going to be a mess when we see their final evolutions.
Yeah.
Normally I would agree with you, but the Pokemon Company has been disappointing me so much that I can't. They like the benefit of the doubt. They have gotten the benefit of the doubt so much that at this point there's no benefit of the doubt left. There's none. I'm all out of benefits of the doubt. At this point, it's like, oh, this is probably going to be trash.
I was going to say I'm out of F's to give.
I won't go F's to give, but it's just I'm not. I don't think that it's going to. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think they're going to turn it around.
I can fully agree because if you guys check on me a little bit at times, I've been arguing with some of these fans. Oh boy.
Like it's kind of like anyone here seen the Book of Boba Fett?
Book of Boba Fett. I've heard of. I haven't seen the
TV show on Disney Plus.
TV show.
Yeah. I saw the TV show, and there was a point in the 7-episode run where you're like, they're not going to turn this around. This is not going to get better. it's like that's basically that point where this is done. This is not going to get better. It's like they're not going to turn it around. Like there's some episodes of serial TV shows where it's like, oh yeah, they can fix it. At this point, the Pokemon has been so mediocre,
disastrous.
Well, mediocre and boring that I don't think that it's. I don't think they can turn it around. Like they'd have to do a lot of shit in order to.
They need miracle in order to fix it.
I mean, I won't say a miracle, but they'd have to change a lot of shit, and I don't think they could do it. What do you guys think?
Oh,
I'm one of those people that's gonna be outright rude and crude about this, but I don't give a f right now because I'm just gonna say it. You guys are gonna kill your franchise. I hope you learn your lesson if everything goes so south that fails even harder. And I don't give a f if it sells. If the game quality is piece of beep, I'm gonna be seriously not even trying to buy anything from that gen anyways.
Well,
I think
sadly,
I've already
Pokemon.
I already cut myself off from 2 gens.
Well, sadly,
I
Pokemon
think,
is not gonna go out because they make too much fucking money off of licensing and shit like
I,
that. But
I think it's time to take that old pony top to the glue factory. It's a good horse. It ran for it was a good
30
workhorse.
years,
It
ran for 30 years.
20 years. I think it's time to take. I think it's time to take her to the old glue factory.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone can keep IPs vibrant for years and years and years and years. The only company I've seen who could do it is Nintendo. Nintendo's the only company that I've seen, and the guy and the people behind Tetris, like Tetris, like you can pick up Tetris and it still holds up. It's really hard to say that about a lot of other IPs. Maybe Civilization.
Your mileage may vary.
Well, so
But
I mean,
yeah.
the general concept behind Civilization, like no matter what iteration, it still kind of holds up. Like you start out with just your capital and a settler. You put down your settler. You build a city. You build a civilization. You send people out to found other cities. You gather resources. Like it, it's like that type of shit kind of holds up. Sim City before EA fucked it up, kind of held up for a long time. Um,
Yeah.
like, it's hard to keep something good. You know.
Yeah. That's the sad thing. Even if you're doing your best, that's a little hard.
Yeah, it's like that song by James Ingram. I did my best, but my best wasn't good enough for the Last American Virgin. Anyone here ever seen the Last American Virgin?
No.
Oh man, it's a sad movie. It's heartbreaking. This guy who's a nerd, basically like everyone else is getting some except for him. He desperately wants to get some, and this girl that he likes this asshole who she gives it up to him. He gets her pregnant. So the nice guy, the good guy, basically takes his money and he scrambles around to get the money to go get her to go to the clinic and get it taken care of, which he does. And afterwards, she heals up and she gives him something. He's like, "Yeah, I'm no longer the lonely virgin." And she's like, "Well, I need you to go get some more money so I can go to this party." And
Oh
he drops her
no!
off at this
Please tell
party.
me it's not what I think it
He
is.
drops her off at this party. You probably saw this movie. This movie used to come on cable all
I
the time when we
saw.
were little kids.
I was
But
gonna say I saw this.
This looks like a terrible movie.
it's got one of the most heartbreaking endings of all time. It's the saddest shit ever. But
Yeah.
at the end of the film, right, like he drops her off at this party. He has to go get something, and he goes inside and he sees her all hugged up to
Look
the
at that
guy
man.
who gave her. No, that's the same dude who fucked her over and got her pregnant and wouldn't help her take care of it in the first place.
Oh
And
no!
he's just seeing this
No!
shit, and he starts crying, and he gets in his car, and he drives away, and it starts playing this song by James Ingram, and he's like, "I did my best, but my best wasn't good enough." And it's the saddest shit ever. It's like, oh my god, this is terrible.
Like, how many people have gone through that? Like,
I don't know how many people.
that just seems so true to a lot of life where you're trying to help somebody out or you're trying to help this girl out
And
that
you
you
get fucked.
like.
You get fucked. She fucks you both literally and metaphorically.
Yeah, and she ends up going out with the piece of
Shit.
trash.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this movie used to come on
God
HBO
damn.
all the time, and like when we were kids, and HBO used to show like really bad movies during the middle of the day. They showed their good shit at night, but during the middle of the day, they showed terrible shit like Boyfriend School and Walk Like a Man and The Great Outdoors, like movies that Enemy Mine, movies that did terrible at the box office, and HBO would buy those movies and put them on cable. But
I was going to say the B-list movies.
No, these aren't even B. These are C. What?
Was it supposed to be like some kind of? Was it like some kind of romantic comedy that had a sad ending? Because if that was
what movie?
The Last Virgin,
America's Last Virgin. The Last American Virgin is one of those films that took advantage of the teen sex comedy. Except The Last American Virgin, it's not a sex comedy. It's a tragic movie. It's sad. It's like, God, this is terrible. It's like this is not funny at all. Like because you're going into it thinking it's gonna be like Porky's or Say Anything or National Lampoon's Animal House or like or 16 Candles, which is a comedy. You think it's gonna be like that, and it's this tragic. This shit's sad because at the end of the movie, like he sees this shit. He gets in his little shitty car and he drives away. And you're thinking like he's gonna like you're thinking you're gonna get that typical teen comedy, teen dramedy romance thing where she's gonna run out and be like, "No, I'm wrong." It just ends with him driving away crying. It's like shit. It's like this is terrible. This is so sad. It's a sad movie. No, go ahead, Jules.
Yeah, I was going to say that I feel like that's one of those movies where you want there to be a good ending because nobody could be that stupid, and then you see, yes, she is that stupid.
He was stupid. He was stupid to think that just because she slept with that piece of shit. She don't mind giving it up. She don't mind giving it up. It meant nothing to her.
That's why you don't. You just leave those people alone. Or what you do is you
hit it and you quit it.
Just leave. It's like, thank you for thanks. I'll see you. You're crazy.
You hit it and you quit it, son. You're like, look, thank you. It was great. I enjoyed it. You were wonderful, but he was a dumbass. Oh, I got to get her this money. I got to sell all this shit. He was hustling. He was breaking his ass to get her that money. I was like, man, you fucking up, son.
Yeah.
But it's like, look, we could do a whole cast about sad 80s films that we grew up with. It's like, oh, this is terrible.
Oh boy.
The 80s was a great time for little like mid-tier then we had good shit like Weird Science, which is great.
Weird Science?
Yeah, it had a cool theme song too.
Oh God! Yep. Now it's stuck in my head.
The theme song for Weird Science was done by Oingo Boingo, and one of the core members of Oingo Boingo is a little known guy called Danny Elfman.
What did he do?
Danny Elfman is the guy who did the theme song for Tim Burton's The Batman, and the theme music for Beetlejuice, and the theme music for Tales from the Crypt.
He's done a lot of theme songs.
Yeah, like Danny Elfman is one of the people who created the theme music of our childhood. Him, John Williams, Jerry Goldsmith. Like Danny Elfman really... Like, anyone who says, I don't like Danny Elfman, you like Batman the Animated Series? Yeah, then you like Danny Elfman. Shut the fuck up. You just don't like the fact that you just have this unholy love affair with John Williams. Now, I like John Williams. Don't get it twisted, but I think he did his best work under George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. I think his theme music for Harry Potter was underwhelming. Like it was generic. It's the most generic John Williams we ever had. But if you want to hear peak John Williams, shit, you need Jaws. You need Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You need Indiana Jones and Star Wars. That's peak John Williams theme. You can't beat the Indiana Jones theme. That's like that's one of the most epic themes ever.
Since in the original Star Wars trilogy, since the Harry Potter movies were being made around the same time, you could hear similarities between some of the Harry Potter music and the Star Wars music.
Well, I mean, it was made by the same guy. Plus, John Williams is a classically trained conductor, so John
Yeah.
Williams' big thing is he's into like big band symphonic type stuff. So that's why like a lot of the stuff that you hear in Star, it's so memorable because it's a march, and marches are meant to be memorable. They're meant to get you into it, you know. Yeah, it's emotional. It's emotional resonance. It's like when you hear the Imperial March and Darth Vader come walking in, you know that's somebody's ass. Whoever it is, that's your ass. You know, it's like I don't know who it was, but that's your ass. You know, it's like
Be ready to see somebody's rear end be turned into pancake.
yeah. Well, I mean, even in the first film, like Darth Vader like breaks that guy's neck. He's like, well, "This is a diplomatic vessel. If this is a diplomatic vessel, then where is the ambassador?" And he throws the guy in the wall. It's like, "Hey, man, that's your ass. They played the Imperial March. That's somebody's ass. I don't know who. It's not my ass. I ain't fucking with him." You know, shit. Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, we kind of went off on a tangent, but movies are a passion of mine. Anyway, because I'm a cinephile. But anyway, yeah,
That's on topic.
Pokemon, you know, I have no hope for Pokemon at this point. I jumped off the Pokemon train a long time ago, so I'm at this point I'm just kind of like, you know.
I left it during Gen 7, so you left it earlier than I did, or close to it.
I mean, like I said, I liked X and Y. When they did the re-release of
Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire.
when they did the re-release of Ruby and Sapphire, and it had less content than the original game, I was like, this is some lazy ass bullshit right here. Fuck it. And that's when I was like, I'm done. I'm done. Like if like here's what gamers don't understand. Like gamers have this irrational love affair. Like these companies personally give a fuck about you. They don't. You care more about the product than they do. The product for them is a unit to be sold. The product for you is tied into nostalgia and all the other shit. So here's the way I feel about it. If you don't give a fuck about your IP, neither do I. You know, if you're just gonna do some bullshit and not put effort into your product, then why the fuck should I care? I'm not gonna waste my energy and my emotional investment and time into something where you're not gonna put, like, if you aren't gonna meet me halfway, then why the fuck should I care? I mean, what? You know?
I see. Yeah, and probably one of the times I actually follow fan projects more than the real deal.
I'd rather, like, I remember when the Pokemon Company went after Pokemon
Uranium.
And I was like, Uranium was actually really interesting. It was dark. It dealt with, like, your Pokemon could get irradiated, so they'd mutate and devolve or transform into a mutated version of something else. I'm like, this is actually changing up the formula. Nothing. You know, Nintendo did the same thing with the Metroid 2 remake. And I know people are like, well, they were making their own Metroid 2 remake. And you're right, they did. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I like the fan made games better than that piece of shit Mercury Steam game that they made. Sorry. And I say this as someone who people are like, well, what do you know about it? The first Metroid game I ever played and beat was Metroid 2 Samus Returns. I love that game.
Zero Mission.
And that shit that Mercury Steam released, they shouldn't even have called that shit a remake. They should have just said, yeah, this is just some shit we just put together. We're real big fans of Metroid Prime. That's what they should call that. Mercury Steam. Yeah, we're real big fans of Metroid Prime. You know, because it does not feel like it belongs in the same universe as that original game. Because the original game was very simplistic, but it did the best it could with what it had. Because the whole point of the original game was like if you want to get the best ending, you had to beat it in under 40 minutes, or was it 37 minutes? One of the two. It was either 40 or 37 minutes, and that's how you got the best ending. So really, it was collecting just enough power ups in order to beat the game. Or if you were like me the first time I played it, using the spider ball to climb everywhere to find all the secrets in every cavern and beating the game in like 3 hours and getting the shitty ending, which was still pretty good. But, it's like...
Your words.
I mean, like, because the 2D Metroid games, that was their thing. The faster you beat the game, the better the ending you get. And, like only Zero, like I think Fusion is the one that added the rescue the animals, where if you wanted the really good ending, and then they continued that in the Zero Mission, which I think Zero Mission is also a really good Metroid game. I think that should be. I thought that instead of doing this 3D bullshit, 3D 2D bullshit that they've been doing with Metroid, the Metroid 2 remake and Metroid 5, I think they should have just kept that cel-shaded look for the 2D games. And then for the 3D games, that's when you blow everything out and do like the Metroid Prime shit with like the expansive environments and, hey, scan this and get lost in the world. And hey, man, this person was brutally killed in the conflict. And you can you can look at environmental clues to see what happened. Like, that's when you do that. But it's like they want to have their cake and eat it too, and it just doesn't work for me. But to each his own. Any thoughts before we move on to the next topic? Yes.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm the one that likes Pokemon so much and yet feels terribly hurt knowing how it turned out.
I mean, you shouldn't get hurt. You should be happy you don't have to spend money on that shit anymore and get your wallet railroaded for bullshit. Hey, remember how you used to be able to just trade your games? Yeah, fuck that. We're gonna hold you over a barrel.
I was gonna say, remember GameStop is one of the few places left to actually do anything with your games at this point that could give you something.
Hey, remember, and I'm talking about Pokemon. Hey, remember how you used to just trade your games? And we still, I mean, if they ever make the final Pokemon, don't do 2 versions. Just make one huge game with everything in there so people can just catch whatever the fuck they want. Instead of always fucking doing 2 different versions so that people, if you want to get everything, you have to basically buy 2 versions of the game and trade with yourself, which is stupid. But I did it back in the day. I was that type of Pokemon fan. Because I got tired of getting fucked over in trades. People, you do trades. What?
I don't understand why they're making 2 copies anymore.
Because it's 2 cells. Because they can sell it to you twice. Because they can sell it to you twice. That's why. Look, they're greedy. Look, the Pokemon Company has a lot of money. They got that by being greedy, blood-sucking bastards. Okay? People don't get rich by being fair to the customer. You be a greedy, blood-sucking bastard. Anyway, so you just don't be sad, be happy. Hey, wait a second. That's an entire expense I no longer have to incur. I don't have to pay for that shit anymore. Yeah! That's the way I look at it. It's like, I don't have to buy 2 versions of the game. Yes! Steam Deck. Steam Deck came out. A lot of people have been shitting on it. I played the premium version of the Steam Deck, and I actually like it. So,
I'm
just laughing.
Have you gotten your email yet?
No. I ordered mine after the second thing, so I'm not getting mine until after Q2. It's like into Q2. So, like, I wasn't one of those Q1 people, so I ain't getting mine. Like, this is Q1 right now. The next 3 months is all Q1. I'm probably not going to get mine until the summer. So, and I'm okay with that because I have the reason I got the Steam Deck was because I was like, okay, I got to get one. But the thing is like, I'm still doing a lot of work from home, so if I really want a game, it's like I don't really need a Steam Deck. I want to get one because it's a really nice low tier gaming laptop, but in a very small form factor. And that's cool. Plus, I could use it as a total emulation station for a lot of my games.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because I don't know about you, but I have a room in my house that is specifically designed just for my retro games, and I'm fucking tired of having to like take
That's
stuff
nice.
out and hook shit up, and it's a pain in the ass. Like if I can, because I've digitized a lot of my stuff and I emulated a lot of my games on my PCs, the ones that like are hooked into my system, and it's great because I'm like I don't have to go around hooking like unplugging shit, hooking shit into my thing because I have one of those one of those switchers where you could put like multiple consoles into like 5 or 6 consoles into one switcher and hook that up to your TV. But even with that, I have like 18 retro consoles. I'm still switching shit out. It's annoying.
Yeah, it's a pain. Yeah, it's a pain in the
And that's
ass.
just the shit that I want to play. That's not including the shit that like I'm like I really don't care if this isn't hooked up to a TV.
Yeah.
Like okay, you're talking okay. I have like 2 Atari systems, but those aren't hooked up because I don't really play Atari that much. And I got them for a real good deal for like $40 in a like a box full of games. I've got my NES, my SNES, my N64, and my GameCube hooked up to my retro TV. Then I have on top of that, I've got so that's 3 in my switcher. Then I've got my Dreamcast and my TurboGrafx 16 PC Engine Duo. Okay, so that's 5 in the switcher. But then there's other shit because sometimes I want to play my PS1 or my PS2 because I have the PS3 that's not backwards compatible, and there's some games that are like I really want to play it on the original hardware because you know there might be certain things that aren't emulated on the PS2. So I gotta that's hooked into the thing. It's just a lot of cables, a lot of cable management, a lot of bullshit. Let me switch this out, put this in, switch. It's just that's why I digitize like 85% of my shit so that I can just play it whenever I can just take a hard drive, plug it in, run my emulator front end, choose what I want to play, and just play it. No problems. I love that shit. So, you know, if I plug that hard drive into my home cloud server, I'd be able to play a lot of games with my Steam Deck. I mean, I could use my laptop, but I have a gaming laptop and my business laptop. My business laptop isn't good for gaming, and my gaming laptop, which is good for gaming, gets too hot because it's a gaming laptop. So, you know, it's one of those things. But yeah, Steam Deck, I've played it. I like it. You know, I know a lot of people have been shitting on it. Actually, no, I'm not gonna say a lot of people. The people I've seen who've been shitting on the Steam Deck are people who aren't into computer gaming.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the people who I know who've been the most vocal about the Steam Deck. Like, I'm like, this is just my own observation. Like, I went on Twitter and Dr. Feelgood was on there. And he was going on and on about Steam Deck. And I'm like, the shit that he's talking about, I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're like, why are you talking about something that you don't know anything about? That's
a
weird
lot of
to me.
people, you know, you know, I was talking to somebody else about it. Now, some of these people are afraid that it's gonna eat up the sales of the Switch or something.
That's stupid. Because they're catering to 2 different markets. Look, the reason someone buys a Switch is to play Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Like, that's why you buy a Switch, is to play Nintendo games. You buy a Switch for the dynamite first party, the excellent, the pretty damn good second party, and when they are good, decent third party exclusives. That's why you buy a Nintendo gaming device. You know, now during the 4th gen, if you had a Nintendo system, you had access to everything.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. Nintendo hasn't been like that for years. Even the Switch isn't really like that. So, the Steam Deck is not for people. The Steam Deck is for people who are into the Steam ecosystem and want to be able to play those games on the go. Issues that the Steam ecosystem is huge.
Yeah.
You know? But you have any thoughts on it, Jewel?
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna feel good with this one.
Why? What did he say exactly?
I mean, at least if some people saying that all this compacts and I'm trying to get into words here, but I feel like most of the people that are saying that all this is so good, at least a good large portion of them, are the same people that try to downplay on the Switch and the Wii U.
I don't.
And
That was a very small minority though. Because
uh
I remember when the Switch was announced, a lot of people were like, not a lot of people. There was a small amount of people saying, "I don't know if this is going to do well because the Wii U didn't do well," and they were like, "Another Nintendo product not doing well." But the Switch, when I saw the Switch, and I'm like, "It's basically a handheld. It's going to be fine."
Yeah.
It's going to be fine because Nintendo has never lost with their handhelds, never, not once. If there is one market that Nintendo has held on to, no pun intended, with the grasping hands of an old man not giving up his pretty young wife, it's the handheld sector. That's why when I heard that shit years ago, when like the reason Sony's like the reason the Vita isn't selling well is because of the mobile market, I was like, the mobile market might be affecting you, but the reason that the Vita isn't selling well is because you guys aren't fucking supporting the Vita. You know, like you do the bare minimum and you expect the maximum results. You know, it's like if you're in school and you just do the bare minimum, you answer just enough questions right to get a 70, and then you're like, man, why didn't I get 100? Because you did the bare minimum. It's. But yeah, I mean, basically, what Dr. Feelgood said, he's like, well, he's making the false equivalency that the Steam Deck is like the Switch when the Steam Deck is not like the Switch.
Not a Switch. It's just a handheld gaming PC.
mm-hmm.
It's a small form factor gaming laptop.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Switch definitely did help to boost that sort of concept, but one's a dedicated console and one's essentially a PC.
Yeah, one's a gaming
Or
laptop.
a Linux device, really.
Well, I mean, it's not really a Linux device because you can put Windows on it. If it was a Linux device, the distro would be in such a way that, I mean, the way the hardware would be, you couldn't put anything but Linux on it. There are devices that all you can do is just put Linux on it. Like if you try to put Windows on it, the shit'll break. it'll explode like in Inspector Gadget. This message will self-destruct. Oh shit! I've seen laptops that only run Linux distros. They are a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because you basically have to. You essentially have to be very comfortable in Linux language in order to really kind of utilize it.
Run it.
Yeah, and just to me, I've never really been into having to, like, I don't think you should have to learn a programming language in order to run your devices.
System.
Yeah, that's like someone saying, hey, in order for you to use your car, you need to be a mechanic. That's stupid. I'm sorry. That's shit shouldn't be that complicated.
Made card. That's a badly made car.
No, just period. You shouldn't have to know that. Like it's like someone saying, it's like when people say, well, it's like when, I mean, like I don't think that you should have to be an expert in something in order to judge it. And like a lot of people have, like, when you complain about certain games or certain business decisions companies make, people say, well, do you own a business? Did you make a game? No, but I mean, just because someone might not own a business, or just because someone might not have made a game, doesn't mean they can't judge when a game is poorly made or when a company makes a bad business decision. You know, that's very false equivalency. You know, like, I don't need to know how to make a pizza to know that if someone served you a pizza that had bits of broken glass on top of it, that they fucked up making that pizza. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, there's some shit. It's like, just through observation, I'd be like, this does not fit the norms of this product. So there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Like, if you had a laptop now that didn't include the ability to plug in a mouse, or even use a mouse, like, you couldn't use any type of mouse, you'd be like, this is kind of like a consumer edge laptop. You'd be like, this is weird. There's something wrong here.
And you're not talking about the mouse that's used in the
I don't mean the touchpad. I mean a hardware mouse. Like, unless you're talking about an ultralight, one of those ultralight, but even the ultralight netbooks now, even those,
allow you to plug in a mouse.
well, if you can't like, you can plug in a mouse with a mini USB, or even if they don't have mouse connectivity hardware wise, you can use a Bluetooth mouse. Like, some way, shape, or form, you can use a mouse. If you had a laptop and they said, oh, we don't have mouse support for this, for consumer grade, because I know, like, people say, well, you know, if you are, like, if it's specialty business purposes, like, if you're someone who's working in a factory and you have to service machines using a Bluetooth connection, or a close, a near device connection, then you might not necessarily be using a mouse. You might be using just function keys and arrow keys to move a cursor around, and typing shit in order to service that. But that's a very specialized function. For consumers, you know, like, having consumer grade shit that doesn't have basic shit that other shit has, that's a problem. You know? But, you know, if you mention that, people get angry. But yeah, Steam Deck is, I mean, it's a mini gaming PC in your hand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it is. For a really cheap purchasing price, because if you take that form factor, even from a year ago, and look at comparable other gaming devices, they are double that price. Like, if you look at the Dell Alienware UFO that has the same form factor and similar specs, it's like $1,200 to $1,500. So, I mean, you know, for probably less battery life, and it probably gets so hot if you put it in your lap, you'll fry your crotch off.
Yeah. Was that thing ever released, or was that just a concept that they were showing?
I think about it.
I don't know if it was released. I do know that other companies have come up with things like this, and there's still, like, the Max GPD Pro has a similar form factor, and it's over like $1,300.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you get a lot of performance. And I mean, like, we know how they're able to get they were able to get the price so low, is because basically it's using a Linux distro, which means they don't have to pay Windows money to put it on there, upping the price. And you know,
plus their Steam store, it gets more people into their Steam store.
Yeah, it subsidizes the Steam store because people are going to go on Steam and buy shit. So, I mean, you know, but I mean, you can't. It's like you can't compare the performance of your home console to a gaming PC, because you're comparing an apple to an orange. They may both be fruit, but they are not the same, and you can't compare them to each other. It's not a fair comparison. Now, you could compare the now if you're comparing the Steam Deck to another gaming laptop, then yes, because that's essentially what it is. It's a small form factor gaming laptop. Anything else anyone else wants to say before we move on to the final topic?
Nah.
All right. So here we go with our final topic is a lot of people are comparing Elden Ring to Breath of the Wild, and I am like I'm already getting tired of the comparisons because
I
having
was gonna
played
say that's. I almost had to do a TF2 laugh. Seriously?
I've played both games. I have extensively played Breath of the Wild. I've played about 6 hours of Elden Ring. I don't own it, but I've played about 6 hours of it, and um, like the only thing that they really have in common is that they're both kind of open world games. But you know, they both have open world games, and you can traverse the world with a horse or a mount. That's about it.
No.
I don't think I don't think it's a fair comparison to compare the two because like they're fundamentally different games in terms of design philosophy and what's going on. Like for example, the reason Breath of the Wild is the way it is because Eiji Aonuma and his team thought that people were tired of the original Legend of Zelda formula, so they stripped it down to its barest essentials and threw out what they didn't need there, and that's Breath of the Wild. Whereas
Yeah.
Elden Ring is essentially taking a common genre trope, which is the open world genre, and applying that to a franchise they have not fucking like they refuse to compromise on, which is the Dark Souls stamina meter for every attack type of hardcore enemies jumping your ass in a corridor, bosses that are ridiculous.
Yeah, like they jump your ass in a corridor like oh money.
Yeah. Or you fucked their sister and then left her at the altar, like that type of shit.
Oof.
Like
Yeah.
people are like, well, I guess the gamers just want to make the comparison because, like, when Breath of the Wild came out, people gave it 10s out of 10s. I don't think Breath of the Wild is a 10 out of 10 game. It's good. It's not 10 out of 10. I don't even put it as the best 3D Legend of Zelda game, to be honest with you. And I don't think Elden Ring is the best Souls game ever. But that's hard for me because I'm not really into the Souls series. But I mean, I would say if you put a gun to my head, I'd say Sekiro is a better Souls game than Elden Ring.
Yeah.
But what are you guys' thoughts? Agree, disagree? Yay, nay?
I think it's good, but I don't think it should be as compared to Breath of the Wild as heavily as it probably should be.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to laugh at that idea of a comparison.
Well, people make the comparison because they're both open world games, but like the design philosophy behind the games are fundamentally different. Like Breath of the Wild, the way like how certain past features that were in the Legend of Zelda series were stripped out in Breath of the Wild to make it more approachable to new gamers.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing. I may have played Legend of Zelda before, but I have yet to see any 3D Legend of Zelda game entice me enough to actually play it at least beyond just the first few moments. And the only one I actually have experience of more than that would be, of all things, Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, like I mean, as someone who got Ocarina of Time at launch and like for Christmas and played the shit out of it, I like Ocarina of Time, but Ocarina of Time is like play Ocarina of Time and then play Link to the Past, and you see that Ocarina of Time is just Link to the Past in 3D, except instead of the Light World Dark World mechanic, it's 7 years in the past, 7 years in the future. It's Kid Link, Adult Link, except being a
Yeah.
kid. Except Kid Link sucks. Like being a kid in Ocarina of Time objectively sucks.
That's the thing. I honestly stopped after I was able to become adult Link.
Yeah, I mean it's a slog playing as Kid Link in Ocarina of Time. Like Ocarina of Time,
I felt it was a real challenge when it was just Kid Link.
it's not even a challenge. It's like they punish you as a kid. Like you get shitty weapons. Like the shield you can use burns easily. Like you're actively punished for fighting as a kid. Whereas what Ocarina of Time apes a lot of the formula of, which is a Link to the Past. In the Light World, you're not punished for fighting in the Light World. Yes, you're fighting weaker enemies in the Light World most of the time. Even the stronger enemies, if you fight aggressively enough, you can kick their asses. But like Kid Link in Ocarina of Time is just it's trash. It's fucking trash. And then they give you one of the most annoying sidekicks of all time. A sidekick that's so annoying that even the people who made the game knew Navi was fucking annoying. Like, yeah, she's terrible.
I was gonna say she's not as annoying when you remember who else is more annoying.
Oh yeah, well the new character they added in Skyward Sword, that's the Master Sword Fee. She's worse. Fee is worse because at least Navi is helping you out by like Z targeting to help you kill enemies faster, more efficiently. Fee will actively stop you in the middle of a fight. You must recalibrate your. You must recalibrate. It's like fuck. That game was ruined by motion control. Like that's one of the flaws of Nintendo. Sometimes they get so caught up on a gimmick that it fucks up the game.
Well, if it helps, the motion controls are still there, but you can actually use a stick in order to do the slashes.
No, I didn't get that game. I mean, why would I get a game that I don't like the base installment of it? That's weird.
I was saying that if you wanted to give it a chance, then at least it has something to help you out with that.
No, I had the original. I played through it to say that I played through it. So then when I shit on it, people wouldn't say, "Did you play it?" Yeah, I played and beat it. Didn't like it. Did not like it. That was a chore to get through that game. And you could see where they made design compromises in order to, because they were so busy working on that fucking motion control that other shit suffered in that game. But anyway, yeah, Skyward Sword. They for the bottom of the 3D Legend of Zelda games, I put Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild right next to each other for which are my least favorite. But anyway, we're almost to the end. I guess we can do a quick unpopular opinion and then wrap things up. I thought we'd get to Bandcamp being bought by Epic Games because everyone's buying everyone now. But I guess we'll do unpopular opinion and then wrap things up. So who wants to go first?
I'll just say Triangle Strategy is going to be one of those games where you're going to feel the hype, but then you're going to feel the slug. I'm just going to say it now, at least by how I played a bit of it.
The game or the
and this is from the demo, by the way.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can't really judge a game by the demo. I know people say if you want to try the game, try the demo, but the demos really don't.
I was going to say that the demo's 3 chapters long.
Yeah, but that still isn't really like the best.
Okay, okay. It's just that if anything, I just have that. I just have that ominous feeling. Though I will play through it. I just have that. I just have that ominous feeling. You know that feeling in your gut saying, "Be ready to suffer."
All right. Okay.
You understand that, right?
No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh God. Had one of those sneezes where it hurts a little bit. Kenoshi, unpopular opinion?
I think we probably need a new trust bus because there's been a lot of people buying acquisitions lately.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Microsoft, we're going to buy Activision and Sony buying, who the fuck did they buy? Destiny. I mean, the Bungie. But that's just a huge, they're just them buying a studio. Nintendo bought somebody, but it's someone they'd been working with since like 1983. Or maybe 19, I can't remember. It was some, I'm like, damn. Everyone's buying everybody. We're in an acquisition war now.
Yeah.
If it helps, at least Nintendo bought somebody that they honestly trust
I mean,
and worked with for years.
I mean, I'm cool with that. I wish they would have bought Alpha Dream before they went bankrupt. That probably would have been a better purchase in my opinion, but you know, whatever. With that being said, they bought SLI. I forget who it is. Anyway, my unpopular opinion is this. You know, if this isn't an attack on anyone, but it's a warning for everyone. For those of you complaining about the Steam Deck or anything regarding, you know, anything that you aren't ultra familiar with, before you write something down that will be there forever, go and do some research. Now, I'm not going to say some ignorant shit, say, well, just do your research. Like, go look at multiple articles talking about something and the hardware specs and what it's about before you write something. Because people who know about it are going to look at you and say, you're fucking ignorant. And if people think, like, if you double down on an ignorant statement, it goes from being ignorant, which can be corrected because you don't know, to you being stupid. And no one wants to be stupid. So that being said, that's my unpopular opinion. Anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up? No one's working on anything?
Project Console, Tuesday at 7:30. I might do a game stream, chill and game stream at some point. I'm not sure when I'm going to do that. Got to figure out a day.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right. This is Mr. Red Fox. I'm going to be releasing over the next 2 days a two-part video where I'm going to go over my ultimate Legend of Zelda game. The first part is going to be focusing on, my ultimate Breath of the Wild. Now, these are going to be things that would never fucking happen in Legend of Zelda. In Breath of the Wild, because unless you get a PC version of this game and mod it yourself, this isn't going to be added, and I don't think they're going to have it in Breath of the Wild too. But with that being said, you know, it's a speculative video, and that'll be coming up. Part 1 will be going up tomorrow. Part 2 will be going up Friday.
Later.
No,
like
Friday.
On Friday or Friday.
No, just Friday, because I've already uploaded them. They're just going to be coming out Thursday and Friday. So that's going to be fun. They're about 20 minutes long a piece. So, yeah. Hope you guys are looking forward to it. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. All of our links, if you want to get in touch with the channel, are in the description part of this video. So, you know, you'll be able to reach us. You know, all that cool stuff. So peace, good night. Thank you for joining. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. You can reach me via email, Gmail, Discord. All those links are in the description section. Thank you for joining. Peace and good night.
And hype responsibly.
Peace.